All good there, my bro? Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of All You Can Eat Warriors. LEVON, my bro, is doing a ton of work in the background here by the looks of it. He must be still muted. I'm not too sure. There he is. He's still doing the work, guys. What's going on? It's good to see the usual comments in the chat here. Up the wars. Good to see you, 40. Good to see you, Jacko. Yeah, Zach, bruv. What's going on? What's going on? LEVON, you good, my bro? You good? Guys. So we got a massive show ahead of us today. Obviously, we're going to be talking a little bit about the new news of Wade Egan and all that, re-signing and that. LEVON, you there, my bro? You Oh, boys. We are the Warriors. Oh, hopefully LEVON's okay. Hopefully he's still speechless. Oh, look at that, boys. He's just dropped out, unfortunately, guys. He should be back on very shortly. I don't know really what's going on. Some couple of technical difficulties. Michael Williams told you I'd get here first. I saw you in the chat first, my bro. I'm sure everyone else will try and get in a little bit earlier next time and all that. Here we go. LEVON's almost jumping back in, guys. LEVON! What's going on, my brother? Oh, no. He jumped out. There we go.
You got me. Okay. Thank you, guys. Hey, sorry. Far out. I'm way behind. My apologies, everyone.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. Welcome in, everyone. Sorry, guys. I didn't. My apologies. Sorry. I'm all out of sorts. Let me start again. What's up, baby?
Fuck, I love this show, bro. I love it.
Hey, shout out to everyone in the chat. Yo, my apologies. I just don't know what. Maybe YouTube said once you got to 1K, we're going to shut you down. So this might be the last stream. But shout out to everyone. Shared. Oh, man, look at the chat line up. 40, man, give me a break, bro. Jacko, 40, mate, just focus on your game, mate. No, but firstly, guys, thank you to everyone. We are here and we made 1K.
Mm-hmm.
We have a toast.
Do we have the poppers?
Fanta. Okay.
Nah, you got Fanta. I got me some Mountain Dew, bro.
Yeah. It's midweek, man. We'll save the party for Sunday. But no, thank you, everyone. We appreciate it. First things first. Yeah. Want a big shout out to Ash for helping this happen, man. It's a big deal, and we appreciate. I appreciate you, especially, brother. And this is something that we've been working on probably since the end of last year. Developing a platform that we could do our work and actually ultimately build that it becomes a community. And I think that's still the ultimate goal, is that we're building a community here. But yeah, thank you, Ash, man. I really appreciate it. You know, we couldn't have done it without you, having you along the way. And again, I'm not talking like from that I'm in sole control. This is definitely us, and just appreciate you, brother. You got any thoughts or words while I get myself sorted?
Oh, man, I'm ecstatic. Obviously, me hitting 1,000 subs before on YouTube, it took me forever and that. And then if people don't know the story and all that, like me and LEVON, like I've been watching LEVON stuff for ages and that. Like I found him on Instagram, as we all have, checking out all like the deep dives in the video and stuff like that. And I was like, I hit him up one time while he was streaming, and he said he watched some of my stuff. And bro, I was like, oh my God, shit, like, big time over here watching my stuff. That's crazy. But, and then, so basically, our work schedules at the time weren't really aligning crazily. Like I was on night shift and all that. And then, as soon as I got the tip that like my night shift was going to come to an end, I messaged LEVON and I was like, hey bro, like your channel's got such a potential and all that. And he's like, yeah, bro, just let me work on it and all that. And then, coming to this year, he's like, yeah, bro, let's do something. Let's do something special. And, you guys have been amazing. Like, we couldn't have done that without all you guys too.
Absolutely,
like,
man.
Jacko, 40, Up the Waz, Tanya, Richard,
Jose,
all you guys, like
Jess.
Jose, yup, bro, like
Jacko.
you guys are all incredible. Jacko, you're all on the same channels too, like you all
Richard.
support our Warriors fan base.
Yep.
Richard. So I appreciate every single one of you guys, man. Like you guys are so supportive, and these are what make this really happen. So
yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you. Honestly, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We really appreciate you guys. And hey, this isn't the end, obviously, and we're only on the way up. And just a little reminder, everyone, now that we did get to 1K, on Sunday is a 1K celebration stream. And what we're going to do is we're going to open the floor up to you guys. We'll give you guys a link on the show, on the full credit to the boys. Ash will try and get there. I know he's going to be busy at the game. He's got a busy schedule, guys. He's got interviews with old Sammy Hewitt and the boys. Are you going to get time to go see Sammy, or is it clash with times? Or
yeah, bro. Nah, so for me on Magic Round, like me and all my boys and all that, we're going through. So we're going on a Saturday. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get Sunday because we got a couple other boys and they're fans of other different clubs as well. And I've always gone to the Warriors one, so I thought this time we'll go together with other boys and that. But Sammy said he's going to be there Saturday. I'm going to hit up with him Saturday and that. Who knows? Get me for free tickets, Sammy. Get me some free tickets for Sunday.
Hook him up, man, Sammy. Get him in there, man.
But quickly also, bro, I want to shout out also massive Thursday night too. I've going to my missus' cousin. She's playing for Queensland in the Origin, the women's Origin. So shout out to Ivania Blite, incredible footy player. So yeah, she's going to
play for the Warriors too. Is that right? Is that
she did. She played for the Warriors in the first time there, and she loved the Warriors. Like, guys, we're coming back in the comp. Your boy can have a little bit of sway. Get over to New Zealand. No.
If you see Vanya Pelita's sign, Ash is onto that, bro. He's he's having interviews with Cameron George as we speak. That'd be awesome. She's B-stage. She's fullback. Is that right?
Yeah, fullback, centre, plays in multiple different positions. So in this one, she's going to be playing centre. She's a freak.
Yeah, Magic Round. Let's go, Ash. Caxton ain't ready. Bro, hit him up, people. He'll be able. So what, actually, give a little plug, man. Where are you going to be? So you're going to be at the Saturday session?
Yep, Saturday sesh. So we're going to be rolling down there pretty early because we want to get into Caxton as early as possible because it's going to be packed. Get a couple of drinks under us and that, and then just enjoy the day. So if anyone's there for the full weekend and they're going to be there Saturday, feel free, if you see me, come say hello, let's have a chat. Like, I love having chat with everyone out there, so I'm really excited for this weekend.
I thought the Waz MP saying, I thought the Waz name was taken from your channel last year. Was it started by you? Yeah. Waz Up was definitely by me. I know there's a guy on TikTok with Waz Up. I think it was after I did Waz Up, but it's all good. It's all good. Not gonna. It's all love. It's all love. We're not gonna hate on you guys. Over here, all good. Good place to vent it. Yeah, man. I know. We. That's what we come here for. And up the Waz, literally up the Waz. $20, mate. We really appreciate this. Congrats on the 1K, boys. All to the cause. After seeing that team list, I'm surprised but optimistic. Let's see. We're going to get right into it, bro, up the wires. And bro, we appreciate appreciate all that you guys are doing. Richard, thank you, my man, and Mo, yes, thank you very much. We appreciate all of you guys. Hey, big show coming up. Let's talk anyway. The first one, this man here, Wade Egan. Ooh. Wade Egan signs till 2027. What's your thoughts on this news, brother?
Yeah, bro. Really, really good news. Obviously, the only thing about Wado is obviously injuries and stuff, as we all know. But when he's out on the football field and plays at his full potential, the guy is absolutely incredible. Has stepped to a whole new gear to start the season. Really looks like he's stepped up in that position. At the moment, we've been a bit, how you going and all that. But I'm sure when we get back into form, we'll see the best of Wade Egan again. But it's so good to have to lock up players, especially, he is an Aussie, and I don't want to keep harping on that sort of stuff. But like for Aussies to stay in New Zealand, that sort of stuff, obviously it means that there's a good culture going on at the club at the moment. Even though we're going through losses and that, to keep someone like him, he could have easily just been like, throw my toys out and go, I want to go back home. You know what I mean? So, all credit to him. So I'm really excited. What's your thoughts overall, my bro? Wado.
I love it. It's kind of unusual to have a guy, an Aussie player, stay this long. Has he got a Kiwi missus, or what? Do you know what the deal was with?
Oh, I know the Kiwis were trying to lock him up because he's been staying there for so long now. I'm
not sure, bro. No, I just would I praise it. I think it's credit to the club and to himself to just being devil's advocate. I thought maybe some Aussie clubs would have thrown a hand out there. Maybe the injury history would have been a bit. But I think seeing these re-signings is all the more to support Webby. And the club that they trust, that he trusts them. So I definitely think that's awesome. But I think, do you see him long term being I suppose an 80-minute hooker, or do you see him more becoming maybe shorter minutes type hooker?
Yeah, I probably see him more so these days becoming more of the 60-minute type of hooker, maybe even lower than that. More of the fact of like injuries have been his biggest drawback, head knocks, and he just gets beaten up during the game because he's so tough, like he's too tough for his own good in moments. Like we saw over the weekend, he copped Joseph Suli's knee to his chrome, like to his dome, like. Yeah, just like those moments like that. It's like he's so tough for his own good in that, but like maybe we need to hold him back from that a little bit and maybe not give him a full 80-minute role where he feels like he's getting targeted every game. So for me, I would like to see the best part of his game is his attack, his strike in attack. That does look a lot better playing lesser minutes than a full 80-minute game. So what's your thoughts overall? Maybe, 80 minutes a little bit too long, you reckon?
Yeah, I really liked his work from coming off the bench. I thought the tempo of the game picked up.
Definitely.
His service, and he was just fresh. And I just think that's really beneficial and good for him. I think it's better for his game more than, him playing 80. And I was talking with replying to a comment today, and a guy was saying, well, it was the bad call because Freddie Lussick started and he let in all those tries, and I was like, yeah, but that's not his problem. Like, we're trying to get the best out of Wade. It's up to Lussick and whoever's the starting hooker to be onto it, so that when he comes on, we're not down by 22 points. He can come on and build into the game. And I thought he still did well, like even though we were down by that much. But I think we just have to look at investing in either more in Freddie Lussick or looking at other options. Potentially CHTs could start, or another type of. You could look at overseas, another hooker that might be your starting hooker that has a bit of versatility. Someone like a Aaron Clark would be a great option. But I think long term he'll probably end up in that coming off the bench role. That's my thoughts.
It's like I feel like it was a little bit tough on Freddie. Obviously, yesterday with the Roosters, obviously, he missed like 4 or 5 tackles in that game. He didn't have the best game defensively in that, but that's usually where Freddie shines more so than not for me. Usually defensively, he's not too bad. He gets his body in front, chops blokes pretty well in that. It just wasn't his game. Maybe that did come from, like, obviously he had the time off due to suspension, trying to get himself back in the first grade and going up against a red-hot Roosters team. Like, you know, that could have swayed multiple different ways. And for the whole thing of like, you know, why did Webby choose to do this, you know, in this game, all that sort of stuff is like, we saw, you know, the last how many weeks that, you know, Egan was getting through about 50 to 60 tackles per game, and how sluggish Egan was looking after those 50 to 60 and still trying to push his attack through and that. I felt like it was one of the only options that we had really there was to run Freddie for more minutes. And, you know, Freddie has potential. We just got to play him for a little bit more and get him used to first grade. Like, I don't think he's going to be an all-time number 9, all that. But we don't need an all-time number 9. Like, we need a good 9 that's going to fill in a spot there and then bring Wade Egan on, who is our strike weapon. You know what I mean? Like, that's my thoughts overall.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm kind of with Jacko here on the sentiments that Lussick was coming back after a month off and had a poor game, which happens, but he's a good player. Yeah, I think you could tie that in with Kossi as well in your evaluation of him.
Yeah,
Not that he's had a month off, but he's been really poor in kind of cup, you know, and it's kind of unfair a little bit on short notice. Even Pompey. But yeah, I think it's, don't pull the pin too much on some of these guys. But would definitely expect when Freddie comes back, if he's going to start again, to be a lot tighter and sharper.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Just quickly on Josh, do we reckon Egan will play the Grant Origin role?
No, unfortunately, I think that ship has sailed a little bit now. I think that the way, from what I'm hearing for the Blues, that Api Coruscant is still the 9 by the sounds of it. I'm hearing Cam McGuinness is most likely going to be the 14 that comes off the bench that fills in at a 9. I've even heard rumours that McGuinness was going to start at 9. For me, if I was a Blues selector, I'll choose Reece Robson and Api Coruscant as your rotation if you're going to do that, you know, Ben Hunt, Grant sort of look. But, you know, for number 2, like, I don't want Egan going into Origin Arena and getting banged up even more. Like, we can't deal with any more injuries right now. Does he have the potential to play out that role? 100%. Do I want to see him do that right now? Probably not right now. If anyone I was willing to let go to Origin would be Mitch Barnett, and that would probably hurt us just as much too. So, nah, I can't see it, bro. What's your thoughts overall? You're a Blues fan, eh?
Yeah, I am a Blues fan. I think it's just a little bit too far away for him, just from a physical standpoint, and the limitation on the 17-man bench. He'd probably be a perfect 18th man if you had the option of playing a 5-man bench.
Yep.
Because you could pick him, and if the game's needs to be picked up, he'd be great off the bench. Creativity. I think just the pace of Origin and the physicality of it. It's important not to hold guys that are injury prone. And the pace of it is quite fast. So, but hey, for us, I'm happy for him to to stay with us and not go.
I think he doubled back on this one too, old Joshua. If you see it a little bit later on.
Okay.
Fully meant how Grant plays for Queensland is how Egan will play for the Warriors. So I guess he meant that as more of a Warriors chat.
Oh.
Yeah, 100%. If you can see it that way, yeah, 100%. That's kind of what we're kind of alluding to, is more of, Freddie's going to be that 9 that takes that first 20-minute brunt and bring Egan on. He kind of just lifts the momentum.
Gotcha.
And the foot speed.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying
what's your
that,
thoughts of that too? Like, as we were touching on before, like, you reckon that's more preferred way to go, as we were touching on?
Yeah. I think long term that will be the way to go.
Yeah.
If you can, what was it, Brandon Smith, even the Melbourne Storm role where Brandon started and then Harry came on.
Yep.
Just so you need someone a little bit more physical to start off with. Like I was saying, even a Jazz, if you got him in a simple role, in the first 20 and just said, there's a simple play package. This is what we're going to start off with. Or even CHT, if you get him to a point where you feel confident he can start. And then you open up the playbook later on. It's just a lot of the stuff is like, Egan's so good. You'd love a fit Egan the whole 80 minutes because he can get into the playbook really quickly. He knows exactly what he's doing. But I suppose this change ultimately will be either for next year and moving forward, because he's got until 2027. So we want to prolong that opportunity to have him really playing well and using his strengths. He's good in defense, but also we're talking about, using a guy that is great at the ruck, has good passing, all those elements. We want to use him in those roles as much as we possibly can. So, that's how I kind of see it anyway. But good question,
Plus,
Josh.
we got a couple of like really nice little hookers coming through the comp for our grades at the moment too. Like, you know, got Lord, I'm pretty sure won SG Ball Player of the Year. I'm pretty sure off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure he was the one there. Even, you know, the hooker we're carrying right now in New South Wales Cup, Talfa, he's not too bad either. So,
Yep.
you know, we got those boys that to watch out for in the future. So, yeah.
No, awesome. Hey, shout out Jasmine. I know you're in the car, but we just got to 1K, brother, and we just want to say thank you. We know
Thank
you've been
you.
here all along, man, and appreciate your support. Yes, so no, good stuff. I think overall it's a good sign for the club. Really, really, thank you, Enigma. I think that's yeah. Is that from your side, Ash?
I'm not too sure, my bro,
I
but
don't.
yeah,
No,
thank you so much, my bro.
Thank you, Nick. Hey, Josh, thank you, man. Appreciate all the and thank you again, Jazz. Blues all day, Tans. Yes, Tans. Tans, jump on the celebration stream on Sunday if you want.
Jump in, Tans.
You know you want to jump on. You know you want to say
100%. You know you want to jump in.
But yeah, okay, that's good talk, guys. Appreciate everyone's talking in the chat. Let's go into now. I just want to pull up injuries. I know it's a big thing at the moment. My question is there an issue with our performance program? I know people, I've spoken with Clough stuff. He doesn't mind me saying it, are very concerned with our performance program. Now, you can probably look across the NRL and say that there's an issue overall. But I'll get your thoughts anyway, Ash. What's your thoughts on the current pandemic, should we say, of injuries? But this is our injury list here. Rocco Berry with a hand is going to be back round 14. Hopefully, Catewell calf round 14. Chanel round 12. That's next week, I would say. But, you know, if you want to be super safe, ride it out till round 14 if it was me. Sean, round 13. That's good signs. Freddie, concussion round 12. Metcalf, we know about that. And Marata round 13. So we do have a lot of trips coming around in the next 2 rounds. But a shame that Roger is out to round 17. That is massive, bro. But anyway, I'll pass it over to you. What's your whole thoughts on the situation that we're in right now with injuries?
Yeah, man. Obviously, it really, really sucks. We haven't fielded our full squad this season yet. Like, I'm yet to find a game this season that we've had as close to a full squad as we could. As I said, one of the closest ones was actually the Rabbitohs squad where we had Chance back off injury. But even then, we were missing Dylan Walker. I think Jazzy was out that game. Oh, no, Jazzy, I think Jazzy was in, but there was multiple outs and all that. I think to start the season, you know, the Sharkies game, we had, you know, no Nick Orde. We had, no Chance. Like, we haven't been, you know, and every team in the competition at the moment is dealing with injuries. So the main question of it, you're hearing a lot, is our strength and conditioning program. Is like, from last year, it looked like, you know, the strength and conditioning was doing amazing because our fitness was incredible. You know, coming to this year, seeing like, you know, that we're playing flat at the moment, playing with a lot of injuries right now. It's hard to say that is around our strength and conditioning. Like, it could be a multitude of things. We've done a lot of traveling within the start of the year as well. You know, we've had 2 to 3 home games. Everything else has been pretty much over in Australia. We're bouncing around from Sydney to Brisbane, from Melbourne. So we're not getting a lot of strength and conditioning done as well. And even then, like, Shawnee for the last, 5 weeks hasn't trained with the full squad yet. There's a lot of things going on at the club, and I'm sure there's a lot more that we really don't know about. Like, you know, we didn't even know about, you know, Barry going down with the broken hand, what was going on about that. Now coming into this week, he's broke his hand. So just really, really unfortunate. Like, injuries plague so many teams in competition, and right now it looks like it's a lot worse than what it actually is, even though NRL Physio did a little piece on it at the moment too, saying that it's not that high of an average comparatively to what we've seen over the last couple of years. It's just a lot more of the bigger name stars are getting injured, so a lot more people are noticing that.
Yeah,
exactly. So the big one for us, obviously, is the whole question around how does this team look without Shaun Johnson? Like, we've been a team that's been reliant on Shaun Johnson for the last year or two. Everyone's saying, you know, without Shawnee, we got nothing. We're about to see that against the Panthers. Let's see if Tamaite can really step up and really fill in that role. But overall, around injuries, guys, it's like, it happens. I don't think that strength and conditioning really could change that unless the boys are getting whipped really hard. But even then, like, the Panthers are the most, like, they have the craziest strength and conditioning program in the competition, and most of the time it feels like they feel a full team throughout the whole year. I know they're missing Nathan Cleary, but other than that, Nathan's only missed a couple of times over hamstring injuries. Jerome Luai's usually there thereabouts. They don't really get hammered with too many injuries. Like I can't really nail it down to strength and conditioning, bro. Honestly, I really can't. I just think it's just unfortunate. As I said to start with the year, bro, I feel like we're one of the most unluckiest teams in the competition, and I still believe that.
Yeah, I think the argument that sways it to it being a genuine NRL situation is kind of that it's happening to a lot of top players.
Yeah.
And I think we acknowledge some of the older players. I know older halves, especially Reynolds at Brisbane, pec injury or bicep, sorry. Sean, chicken wing, obviously all day, every day, but still injured. Yeah. And then you're looking across the league, a lot of hamstrings this weekend. And with all the elements you're talking about, no real strength and recovery, guys, staying away in Sydney. Yep. And a good comment in the chat about the 6 again rule. I do think there's a lot of validity around that.
100%.
The stress on the players, high intensity football, ball and play for large amounts of time. That all compounds it. But I think you're probably just finding that it's just kind of not a coincidence, but everyone getting injured at one point in time, and then maybe you'll see more times. Like I feel confident with that list that we put up that the majority of those guys will stay healthy moving forward.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
So I think from pretty much round 14 on, let's say everyone round 14, 15, we should have the majority of those guys who are starters. Let's remember that they should be able to, go on from there and have a good run to close the game out.
Isn't it crazy that one of the topics we touched on at the start of the year was like how good our depth is, and that like we don't think he'll get tested like this, you know what I mean? And then we end up getting tested like this, you know what I mean? Like it's hectic. Like we started the year thinking that we're going to make a new role for Murata and Niokore. We have not seen that 1 inch this year. Like not one bit have we seen him run through that middle. I think that was one game there where we had him run out there as a middle player to try and boost the momentum. As I keep saying, like this year's been a lot of different things that have just gone not as planned with us. And I think this is the biggest test of Webby right now, is like to weather the storm and really coming up to the bye period here where we get a lot of boys back, like try to get some improvement. So when we get into that bye, we can really boost, and our run home's really, really good. Just get boys back and keep them healthy throughout the rest of the year. That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, it's like, I think you're right. If we can snag a win here, let's pray. Let us pray. But Dolphins especially, maybe target that game specifically to really get a good performance in. Say if you can get a CHT back, that would be great. Whoever else can, Lussick or whoever, and try and nail that one to go into the bye with the 4 points. That's still good too.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, man. But we just got to ride it out, unfortunately. But yeah, we never thought that this. Now you counted 29 players probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Where are we at now? We must be close to 31, 32.
I'll quickly check on that for you, bro. That's actually a really good thing I haven't even touched on lately. Players used. Just as I'm checking this now. Yeah, we have used 28 players. So I'm guessing that's from our top 30 squad. The Rabbitohs have used 31 with the exemption.
Wow.
So they're the only team that's above us right now. Everyone else is sitting 26s. The Dolphins had 27, so they've done really well. Some of the top teams over here, Panthers 25, Sharks 25, us 28. I feel like, our 28 too has been carryover with multiple, Niokore coming back, Niokore going back out.
Yeah.
Players like that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of those.
Ins and outs within a week or two. Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's been my whole argument throughout this year. Is I want to see build combinations. I want everyone to get together, but it just felt like we haven't had our full team out there yet to even look like what that would look like. And that's why I've always been trying to hold out hope of when that happens, then we get to see what this team is made of. But at the moment, it just feels like that every game we're having to chop and change mid-game. And I feel like that's the reason why we're carrying Pompey on the bench at times. And when Webby's making these moves is because we're having injuries during mid-game so many times this year. It's so frustrating to watch when you're watching a viewer. You're just like, oh, another one down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's frustrating. Absolutely. And I know a lot of you guys in the chat asking a lot of questions about it. Well, we are going to go into the team list for this week. And here it is, people. You got Tain Tuopiki at fullback, Dallin on the wing, Leatoa on the right centre. Exciting. So, yeah, confirming that in the chat, he is starting. Adam Pompey left centre still. And Marcelo Montoya, who we believe was dropped and now has found his way back in. So that'll be a good talking point. Another good talking point, Chance Nickel Clockstad at 5'8", with Tamaire Martin at 7. Your front row is Adam Fennell, Blake Wade, Egan Bunty R4, Jackson Ford in the back row with Mitch Barnett and Tohu Harris to round out that starting 13. Then your bench is Dylan Walker, Tom Male, Jazz Tavanga, and Jacob Laban, with Zion currently as your 18th man. And obvious ones, Ed Quassi has been dropped at the moment. But another interesting one that Ash pulled up is Ben Farr has made the top 23. And so there's some interesting talking points coming into that 24-hour cutoff. But your ultimate thoughts, Ash, on that squad?
Yeah. Overall, I think with the players that we've got, maybe this is the best thing that we can come out with. As I kind of alluding to, is I do think there's going to be a late change. I wouldn't see that we're going to run Tain and Chance as like a switch around fullback half sort of look. I've heard that a lot around social media. Who knows? They might happen. It might end up happening because Tuopiki has taken up more of a playmaking role in Cup when I have seen him there. But Ben Farr sitting in the reserves just has me sitting there as like, I think it's the first time we get to see his name in that reserves there, and gives me a little bit of vibes of like maybe there's going to be a late switch here, and that would more so for me see that Tain Tuopiki probably drops out to the 18th man role, and then we bring Ben Farr into that 6th, and that's just off the top of my head right now. It may even run out the way it's been listed at the moment. But for me, my preferred would be maybe Ben Farr to come in at that 6th role and Chance going back to fullback. And it's not anything on Tuopiki or anything like that. It's just more of the fact of like, I like to see, players that play that specific position in that role to build combinations and get the team around the park. And I'll more so see that, even though Ben Farr's played a little bit of fullback lately as well. So he bounces around a bit everywhere. I'm really excited to see Monty back after, his performance in Cup of the weekend. As I said, had a decent performance, rocked up with 176 meters, a try, 2 try assists, had a killer game in Cup over the weekend. So maybe that was more of the thing of we've seen Gossi. I feel sorry for Gossi. I do feel like if we we're going to pick him there, maybe we should have stuck with him a couple more weeks to see if there's something around there. But Monty back in, he's been now more experienced winger, and it kind of shows that there's a reason why Monty is in the squad. I do believe that. I believe he brings energy to the squad as well. So I'm excited to bring him back off a little dropping. But what's your thoughts overall on the squad, bro? Where would you like to change?
I think if you just from a structural point of view, I think Webby at the moment has gone for the best forward pack. He understands.
Oh yeah.
That he needs Dylan Walker in that rotation, that forward rotation right now. So yeah, I think for me he's mixing and matching, but I agree that there might be some late changes. I mean that starting forward pack still is pretty good, especially coming up against a strong. We need as much physical presence. I like the bench currently at the moment. Walker with Jazz and Laban. I like that balance.
I do too.
I like the idea that Laban could come on for either for probably a Capewell, Barnett, push him inside if you felt it, or give forward a break or whatever gives you a bit of cover there. But I definitely feel like I'm more of a traditionalist in terms of I would prefer to see Ben Farr come in and just slot in. Yeah. The other argument is that if you do look at the Warriors, they are pretty mix and match in a lot of their structures. You've seen Dylan Walker able, even from a lock position, drop into a 6 pretty easy. Well, not easy, but knows enough to get through a game in those roles. So I felt the same about Chance. He could figure a way out around it.
I think so. Yeah.
It's just a balancing act in terms of. I know you've talked a little bit about Tane coming in and playing more of a 6 on attack, and then Chance defensively. Chance on the defense side, and Tane at the back. So it's just, I think, a little bit of mind games in this squad. And I wouldn't be surprised if we got some little changes. But I think that those centers, Aleatoa, really excited for this. Yeah. And I know, 100%. Injuries, we haven't seen our starting first team, so we haven't got this. I like sometimes these mix and match combos because you get to see guys just with a kind of a raw element.
Yeah.
Without too much over structure. Who knows? They might have a full on license to do whatever they want. I don't want.
Yeah.
We might say, hey,
Ali, get through the middle.
Do some stuff, and just so these are kind of good games, and it's not ideal that it's against the Panthers, but at the same time, it's if we can get Ali to beat out who's he coming up against, Taylor May, see what he can do, man. That's a good battle. Yeah, if you can control him, then that puts in Webster's mind that you might get a spot soon. So yeah, that's how I'm thinking about it. It's opportunities for everyone.
Yeah, there's a ton of opportunities here. Overall, everyone's been harping on wanting to get Tuapiki in that 6 role. My only argument against that is obviously defensively, he's going to get spotted up on if he's going to be there. Obviously, from everyone chatting, if they're going to mix and match from defensively and that, I'm not too sure how many times that's ever worked in history. I kind of brought up before in pre-show, I think the Titans have tried that before with Brimo and Jaden Campbell. Didn't really work out for them either. But who knows? Maybe it'll work a bit more for the balance of the squad. Again, I sway them way of I just would like to see a strict 6 there with Ben Farr. I think the blessing in disguise overall. I know we're pretty locked in on the 6 role and what's going on there and the rotation there, but this is a time for Tamaide to step up now too. He's going to have to be the guy to really direct this squad around. And I feel like some of the times that we've ever seen Tamaide really do good things is more in a half look than he is on a 6 look, if that makes sense.
Yep.
We put it up in tape before. He likes to get his hands on the ball pretty early off the ruck. He doesn't like to play a 3-on-2 situation. He likes to play with an edge back rower. I like the look of maybe him at 7 and just seeing what that looks like. You know what I mean? We've been with Shawnee for a long time now. I'm the biggest Sean Johnson fan. Obviously, when we get Shawnee back, he's going straight back in. But what does it look like at the moment? That's the biggest thing I really want to see. And Tamaide just to step up, and maybe this will help him for the future in that 6 role when Shawnee comes back to find his voice, get communication to his outside man. These little things, that's the best thing I could really take out of this lineup too.
I just want to touch on that too. I think that's probably the best. This is an opportunity to see if what we've thought about him is accurate.
Yeah.
We've said, sometimes he's felt invisible. Sometimes, he's been overcalled by Sean. We'll see if he's had freedom and what he does with that.
Yep.
And we'd just love to see him. Even Tamaide is a very eyes up type guy.
Yes.
You can tell sometimes the overstructure may not suit him. So I think maybe with a little bit more freedom. Another good element, I love those little chips he was doing over the top.
I love that. I love that kick.
Yeah.
I love that kick.
Yeah, it was really nice, the one that Pompey, and we were even had the little Warriors feel good, if what was it, what's his name? Who's the fullback? Tedesco didn't intercept their pass and maybe Adam scored it. I was like, we're on our way back.
That would have been amazing.
Because it was the last point of a comeback. If that pass had come off and we scored there, it was we're on. But some of those elements, I think if we can give them an opportunity to show that they're there at least. We just want to know they're there. Yep. And if they are there, then that's great. We know that if you can work it out with Sean, then but a lot for him to prove, in terms of
100%.
To the coaching staff and to the players that he's more than just a 5'8", or more than just what the role he's currently in. We
got to remember too, when he was coming through the grade, there was a time where Tamaide Martin was the best 7 coming up. He was the best young 7 around the competition. There was a time that was. Now it's time for him to get back to that. You know what I mean? All the things you picked up over the years, he's been in his shell the last couple of weeks. I could see the positive of this happening and him being in control of the team and really finding his combinations and finding where he sits with the squad, and that doing wonders for us all the way up till maybe when Metcalf comes back and stuff. Overall, I'm excited for it.
I just want to. This one is important though. Jacko's saying if we can't kick long, Panthers back three will have a field day. That's some of the issue around Tamai's kicking is that it is quite a short kicking game.
Yeah.
And if you do get pressure from, in terms of charge downs and that, could be a long day. We need something long. Do you think Tane has a little bit of that? And what maybe is Ben Farr's kicking game? Is he got quite of a long kicking game?
To me, both their detriment. Like, I've seen Tane put up some bombs and stuff in periods and that. I don't think Tane's got an incredible long kicking game either. I don't think we have anyone else in the squad that really does. That's a little bit of a worry.
True.
If we had Shawnee, everyone was complaining about our overarching game plan of, the kick in the corner with Shawnee, the big bomb in the corner and that. Like, these are the games where it works dividends because you got Brian Zotto and Suni Taruva that work so hard out of their back end, especially off kick returns. Like, they're gun at that. Tamade's short kicking game is really, really nice. Who knows? Coming into this game, maybe he's been working a lot on his long kicking game. It's still yet to be seen. That's the biggest thing. So it's definitely a worry for us whether Tamade has that in his bag. It's really up to the weekend to really see. He's going to have the full kicking reign on the weekend. We're going to have to see something. That's the biggest thing. Just step up when it counts.
Yeah, I think so too. Hey, Tater, my man, could you do a breakdown of Penrith versus Warriors prelim game last year for TMM? Maybe, man. I have to look at that tape. I can't remember. You remember off the top, Ash, how we kind of played in that game?
Yeah, we had Dylan Walker at 6 in that role, and he did take control for a majority of it. I felt like to start that game, if you actually rewatch that, we had moments where we were hanging in with the Panthers. I think the Panthers just fitness and just overwhelmed us later on in that game. And then we found a little bit of points towards the end that more so came off of Wado and that. I can't remember off the top of my head what his long kicking game was like in that game either. So might be a good little clip to look into before this weekend.
Yeah, and this is Tanya saying also if CNK does stay at 6, it is because of his ball playing abilities, maybe unlocking the left. I think this is called more on the Tyson Gamble variety, where you just someone with a bit of confidence just run. Just run. take a back row with you at the line. Just try stuff, a little bit of that. But I mean, we've seen it with Chance. Remember the game against the Knights when Tamaiti got injured. He did set up a try for Ford, if we remember that.
Yep.
A little while ago. So he does have it. So it's not to say he can't play in the halves. But that's what I think. It's more of like he knows the system. He's confident. He can probably defend in the line. And he knows how to fill in each of the roles that he might need to. Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest thing for me, bro. It's like after the last couple of weeks and that defensively we have fallen all the way off other than that Knights game. But I still think that the wet weather kind of hampered that game overall in attack either way. Before that we conceded like some of the most points we've ever conceded throughout this whole season. Our defense fell off a cliff and that's the biggest thing that worries me. And I know everyone wants a quick fix in our attack and get energy in our attack. That's why everyone's calling for Tuapiki. But guys, defensively is where we need to hold in strong. Like is what it is. That just is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't care if that 6 is going to be there just running all day, as long as he's making all these tackles at the end of the day and not, giving up on that outside man. That's all I care about. And even when we look at Ben Farr coming to the lineup, I think Ben Farr's best ability also is a bit more of a running game. He has a little bit more playmaking than these fullbacks that we have here. But he's a bit more of a runner, he's a bit more of a runner comparatively as a 6 too. So it won't change. He won't be throwing massive cutouts and be that answer that is the playmaking answer that we want really.
Yeah. Actually, this is a really good point, boy. It's such an effort team that it makes me excited. It's one of those mix and match games where you're just thinking, oh, what's the worst? You can probably gonna take a loss, but you're like, I just want to see what it looks like.
Yeah. But I just want to see effort. That's all he wants to see, I reckon. It's just go out there. If this is a team list that's going to run out, I bet you anything. It's just like, guys, I just need to see 100%. Like, go out there, just kill our game plan, play with effort, play with energy, and see if we can come home with something. That's what I honestly see here.
Yeah, and just a little bit of variety. Like, I think I wouldn't be in bad shape for a Ben Farr. A little bit of smoke and mirrors, so that Josh was talking about last night. He knows to
the Penrith system.
Yeah, and that they do like to drill in depending on who the halves are. Yeah. So maybe a bit of smoke and mirrors here, and if you sneak a Ben Farr in, it might just randomly throw off the game a little bit. You never know.
Where do you think Webby's been getting these last minute changes from? You know what I mean? Like, he's been in that Penrith system. He knows how teams D up on certain players.
He's thrown old Cleary off. Cleary's looking at this like, okay, that's Webby. He knows my system. What is he trying to do?
Doing the old smoke and mirrors against
a
old
bit of smoke
coach.
and mirrors with the old master. Interesting. You know, Webby, Cleary had Serraldo last week. Serraldo did all right. The Bulldogs, they stayed close. But now he's come up to his other son. So he's given one son a hiding. Not hiding, but, pulled his ear. Now he's got the other son here, and I'm hoping, the son can get one over him,
Yeah. Well, overall, like, going into that game, like, the Doggies' stats this year, guys, too, is like the Doggies have been a much improved team this year. They're like one of the best teams for limiting run meters, and the Panthers are second in the competition right now for run meters. Third, for run meters overall. So the game plan writ itself there, like, the Bulldogs were, really good at limiting teams into their own end and moments and stuff like that. And the Panthers are one of the best teams for trying to get out of their own end. So it became that tussle. And, surprisingly, there's a couple of stats that sway the similar way for us this weekend to if we can play our game plan the way it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Guys, just before we get into, we're going to do Stats with Ash actually next. But a great discussion. Really good seeing the stuff in the chat as well, guys. But yeah, it's going to be one of those interesting games. But excited for, again, this is opportunities. Why not throw a Benfar out there? Why not throw him out there and just see what he can do? Leatoa, great opportunity for him. There's just 100%. There's a lot of Tane if he gets installed. There's another great opportunity for him to show his skill set. So it's exciting. It's one of those games where you just see what happens. Guys, 51 of you guys in on YouTube. Man, we appreciate you guys coming in. We're at 22 likes. Can we get that up to 30 real quick? We're trying to push for 40 tonight, especially celebrating 1K. But I appreciate you guys anyway. But yeah, let's get those likes up. Thank you very much. Helps the algorithm and all that stuff. So, but yeah, man, let's get into Stats with Ash, people. What have you got for us this week, brother?
Yeah, bro. So obviously, I'm a big proponent to 3-game rolling averages. Obviously, overall, it's more to see like the form that both these teams are coming into this matchup in. So the Warriors, obviously, as we know, guys, being Warriors fans, we've lost to the Titans, Knights, and Roosters coming into this matchup. The Panthers have won against the Cowboys, Rabbits, and the Bulldogs coming into this matchup. So to be fair, out of all the teams, we probably played the more informed team of the Roosters. Obviously, the Doggies haven't been too bad. Out of the other mix and match of the teams, they've all been kind of, trying to find their position in the ladder with the Titans, Knights, Cowboys, Rabbits, and stuff like that. So obviously with our boys, we have been a little bit lackluster in attack lately. So we've fallen off the pace a little bit with 16.6 points per game, which actually, our overall average is 19.4, which is actually 10th in the competition. But going on defensively is the real area I'm really worried about too is, we're conceding 26.3 points per game in our last 3-game average. That is just not good enough at all. Especially, our overall average now is at 20.3, which is still 7th in the competition with the amount of bad form we've been in for the last how long. It's slowly dipping away, but it just showed how good of a team we were to start this year and how that's fallen away a little bit. That's why I like to run with these 3-game rolling averages overall. So the start of the year, as you do remember, we actually were holding teams to 14.3 points per game, which is very similar to where the Panthers are at the moment. So we've fallen away a complete 12 points per game. That for me is so much worse than what I'm seeing with the 2-point drop off in our attack. And for me, the best teams in the competition are the best defensive teams in the competition. There's no lie about it. That's just the way it is. A couple of things to really run into this with at the moment too. The Panthers right now on their 3-game rolling average, they're scoring 28 points per game right now, which is actually higher than their overall average. So they're a little bit in form with their attack right now. Their overall average is 22.9, so they've got an uptick there. And defensively, they hold it very stagnant the whole way through, 14 points per game. That's second in the competition right now, with the Sharkies being the best defensive team in the competition currently right now, which is really, really crazy to see. Like the Panthers just every year, they've been the best team in defense every year. And this is the reason why they've gone 3 in a row, gone for 4 in a row. That's why I got to keep drilling home is defense wins championships. That's how we do things. Jumping on how both teams look at each other here. We actually, In the last 3 games, we run for about 1,600 meters per game, where the Panthers are about 1,700. So really, you know, about 100 meters, you know, the Panthers are a little bit more of a roll on at the moment. But if we're going on overall average, we're still the best team in the competition right now for run meters per game, with 1,533, where the Panthers at 1,524, closely behind us in third. So that's a really good, you know, little stat there that we are getting to where we need to get to still. That's always been the best part of our game, is getting to good field position. So we're doing that still at a pretty high click. Errors per game is a big one, guys. And I don't think you guys would, you might know this if you look at stats a lot, but we actually are still one of the best teams right now for actually, you know, not giving up too many errors. And that makes, like, when you look at our game, the most frustrating part of our game is when we do give up errors, and it happens at probably the worst field position. And that's probably the difference in these stats here too. But the way I look at both these stats that I'm going to give out to you guys is more so what the Panthers do defensively to hold out teams, especially giving out with these errors and stuff. So right now we averaged 9.3 errors per game in our last 3 game average, which is actually solid to our 9.3 overall average. So we haven't actually got worse with our errors, which is very surprising. You know, especially in this 3 game rolling average. The Panthers currently right now hold a 12 error per game average, which is overall's 11 overall. Wow. So they actually have more errors in them. But what the Panthers do best is limiting teams, especially if they give up errors. They know their defense can actually hold them out, get the ball back, and get back to their game plan. We aren't doing that currently right now. And that's our biggest problem overall. And that's why everyone's, you know, highlighting the errors in the game, is more so we can't defend our errors, where the Panthers, they aren't really looking at this too well because they can defend their errors. Like, it's like the Broncos. The Broncos, the way they run their game plan is they have probably about 15 errors per game. But guess what? They'll defend half of them and then put the rest of attack on you to really go over the top of that. That's usually how, you know, footy works. We are both around that 6 penalties per game sort of average. The Panthers at 5 penalties per game, so it's around about the same there. And the big one here, we're actually doing really well with conceding, holding teams for run meters as well. So we only concede overall this season 1,400 per game, which is actually 5th best in the competition. The Panthers are 2nd best right now at 13. And with the last 3 game rolling average, we're very, very similar. We're both at 1,500 meters per game conceded. So we're doing a lot of good things around these areas. Goal line defense is the biggest thing with us this year. We can't hold teams out from scoring tries. And so this is the whole thing of, like, if you haven't gone and checked out the eye test or the NRL eye test on X, when he had those stats that we were dominant in most of the areas of football, it's showing exactly that. Statistically, we aren't that bad. It's just we can't convert points and we can't hold a defensive line on our goal line. That's the 2 areas, and it's sometimes the most important areas in football. And for me, the most important one is defending our try line, and we can't do that well at the moment. So that's my thoughts overall, guys. Those are the stats overall. Coming into this game, I'm actually pretty excited to see, you know, the stats aren't too far off overall. I just think we just need to strike when the iron's hot a little bit, but also when the Panthers get a roll on, because they won't just pepper us, you know, they won't score on the first opportunity, they won't score on the second opportunity, but best believe they're going to be there for the 3rd, 4th, 5th time. And that's how the Panthers game plan works. So coming into this weekend, let's get excited for our boys to hopefully hold steady and get a little win now here for us.
Yeah, I love it. That's guys. Thank you again, Ash, for such a wonderful segment. It's really eye-opening, kind of seeing those numbers, and on you know, obviously on law of averages, that we're not too bad. We just got to get these little details right, you know. The overall
Everyone's
numbers,
been saying it.
and we've been preaching it. Webby's been preaching it, but we just and I think I saw a lot of good things in that performance after the 22-0 scoreline. So there's good signs. It just needs a bit more consistency around it. But I appreciate you, man, for sharing that. Yeah, the errors one, where it's like they can defend their errors, Penrith can. That's going to be an issue. I think goal line attack, that will be frustrating.
Yep.
Because they will be able to repel that. That's why I'm thinking, you know, would be nice to maybe try a few long range attacking. Kick on the first tackle, Seagulls last year. What should we?
That's not.
What are you
Trying to
saying,
do the
man?
Seagulls. Kick on the 0 tackle, bro. As soon as we get a kick back, we'll go old union style, bro.
Just rugby union straight back.
Just play that game plan, bro. They won't know what hit them.
Chip and chase straight away. Oh, that'd be great.
But that's the biggest thing, bro. I think that's the reason why a lot of our fans are seeing that we're bad at errors. We're bad at errors. Is like statistically, we're not bad at errors. We're bad at defending our errors. That's why the errors are amplified so much more. The boys are actually, I've done these stats for how many times out of this year. And throughout most of these times, you probably notice that our errors actually haven't been that bad this year. Our penalties haven't been that bad this year. We're actually winning the penalty count more so than not sometimes too. And also that we are limiting offloads too, which used to be our biggest struggle from last year as well. We just lost our goal line defense and we've lost our spark in attack and our energy. And I think energy is a big one that helps that a little bit too, is we are running a bit flat.
Yeah, we are. And I think this is a great comment by Clough. Put it this way, although it is not ideal that SJ is out, this will give us the chance to break the shackles and play with a bit more freedom without being so. I think so. We'll probably see just some different. I think what we've seen in terms of attack is the mindset of either Webby and Sean put together. Yeah, it's kind of an offense that's catered to what Sean is good at and what works well. And it was an offense for 5 weeks almost that he couldn't even operate in because he wasn't training. And so this one is almost, you got to cater to two different players with two different skill sets, and it'll be totally different. So yeah, just exciting. I think that's my thing.
Yeah, 100%, bro, 100%. That's why I kind of touched on before. I think this is more exciting to see Tamade and seeing him step up in that role and see what's different there. What can he take from this? And then maybe when he moves back to 6, maybe he gets more of a play call now, if that is the problem. His communications seems to be the problem.
We'll be able to find out pretty quickly, yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, just want to take a quick break before we get into Combined 17. Some questions from early in the show. I just pinned them. Jose, what name do you like for our bar? And he says, I like 95. What was? I never got your thought on that, Ash. Where were you with, in terms of the name for the bar? What was your thoughts?
Bro, I didn't really have too much of a thought on it. That 95 doesn't seem too bad.
I had Endicots.
Endicots. Yeah, well,
I was thinking of like, I was just trying to be in here because everyone was coming up, everyone on Instagram, everyone was coming up with these like cool Stacy's and Sunnies, and I was like, nah, I tried to, I was trying to do Odin Ryans or Endicots, just no one laughed, but chuck in there, guys. Chuck in there, guys, if you ever got another one a bit of an out the gate name. I was thinking of Endicots or. Oh, come on, into Webby. Come on, a bit of positive. We're trying to have a little break from all that, man. Come on, give us something. But no, you guys chuck in the chat what you're thinking. I just got another question here by Alex S. earlier in the chat. Where do you guys see CHT slotting in next week if he's back? Really good question. What about you, Ish?
My opinion, bro. I would see him as a 6. I think that, especially Shawnee being out, I think he'll end up the bye round, going into the bye round, him playing 6. Just for the round, and then when Shawnee comes back, he'll throw up now whether, on that game alone or whatever, if Chanel will be our 6 going ahead till, or how Tamade goes at the moment. So I think he's going to be our 6, bro. Where's your thoughts? Do you think he's going to be our 6?
I think so. Webby's in a really tricky situation, but I think the idea, I know they'll probably go with a bench of, if everyone's healthy, probably Lussick, and so Lussick will be either on your bench or what's his name, or Egan will be on your bench. So I think the utility factor will purely be Walker, and I think they'll just do a hooker rotation for Egan, and just put CHT on the edge because I've always mentioned I like the left side of kicking game. I think that gives you other options, and we've been missing that. So. And I think he's just solid defensively. He'll be good. I mean, we saw him in that night's game. He's really good defensively. Checks and slides well.
Yeah.
I just think you have to at this situation of the year. Now, if Mighty comes and puts a massive performance on, then maybe you might try something like that. But I think just naturally I'll go CHT. Yeah.
I reckon if CHT was all good and ready for this round, like kind of Webby was sort of throwing up that maybe he was back this round, maybe next round or whatever, I reckon he would have been our 6 this weekend, 100%.
Yeah, I think so.
Some cool names here, guys.
Yeah, so very good. Happy days.
Happy days.
Very nice. Let's go on bar. Yeah, those are the sort of
The refers.
refers. No, Mamba team is not a 7. Oh, okay, he's talking to okay. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Jackson Ford to play 7.
Play 7?
Come on.
God.
Yeah.
Jacko would be crazy there, huh?
Yeah.
I seen Bunty get thrown up by I can't remember who was throwing that up. But
Yeah.
Bunty, the old joke there.
Yeah. The breathers, that's nice. Yo, shout out the West.
Get Bunty out there.
Coast. Yeah, the breathers. Okay.
Vivid dreams.
Yeah, let's get into this team combined 17. Now, guys, we're doing it a little bit different. I've got this little bit of a thing I found. Now it's a rugby union thing, so forgive them for their the setup. But yeah, we're going to kind of build our best 15 here. I'll just get this up quickly. For combined 17.
Let's go.
Now I've kind of got it in an attacking shape. If you can kind of think of that's the shape there. So you have your props, and then they're kind of running, and then the halfbacks are in behind for the out the back, and then they're using the back row, and then they're using the center. So just a little bit of a different formation as you would normally see it. But
that's a flying V, bro.
It's like a flying V, man. Yeah. Yeah. I copied it. I asked Woody, hey, can you give me some
running the Warriors
diagrams? Yeah. Give me some Warriors and Panthers shape. And I've got the colors in there, guys. I've got the blue for us and the black on the outsiders for the Panthers. So I'm not being completely biased, but anyway, man, we're going to put the names in here once we pick our spots. Forgive the union, guys. I mean, they've got them all in the wrong place. So, but yeah, bro, let's start at fullback. Going off the list, and Ash, I know you're up to it, and I've watched a little bit of Panthers, but I know you've probably watched a lot more than me. But if you can give a little bit of things to be aware of, I mean, most of us are aware of the key guys, but there might be some guys in there that we need to watch out for.
Yep.
We'll go with it for now, but Tane Tuopiki versus Dylan Edwards.
Yeah, this one, love Tane, as my catchphrase is, brother. I love Tane. But Dylan Edwards is just flying at the moment. Like, he's in a lot of people's New South Wales squad, which is, fairly, it's well-deserved. Like, I think he works harder than most of every fullback in the league, does all the little things. So, for me, it's got to be Dylan Edwards over Tane. But I love Tane. Like, I think Tane can grow into a great fullback and that. But, yeah, out of these two, it's got to be Dylan Edwards for me, bro. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm writing it in already,
Beautiful.
Unfortunately, but that's just, it's a great, again, just as going back to just a great opportunity for Tane to get more experience. Great. I was great to hear him on the One Take podcast. I thought it was really insightful about his process through, not a traditional process from a Warriors Academy to say, or academy. He had to fight for every yard, to get where he is today. So I got a lot of respect for players like that.
100%, bro.
Okay, now Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, and would it be Brian To'o?
So that'll be left wing, yeah. It'll be Brian To'o. Even though Brian To'o played on the right last week, I'm pretty sure he'll be back on the left this week.
So are you going to say then it's Taruva versus?
It'll be Dal versus Dal versus Taruva. Sorry, yeah.
Okay, that's it. Oh man, I know Dal's probably in a bit of a bad patch. Overall, Taruva's quite solid. What's your thoughts on this one? That's it's kind of a tough one.
Yeah, it's really tough because obviously you got the young Taruva who has a ton of potential, and he's incredible. He's a great winger in the competition right now. I think he's close up the top of the competition for try scored this year as well. If we're going off of finishing ability, I would have Dal every day of the week over Taruva, even though I think Taruva's a great finisher in that. If we're going workout rate out of their back end, I think they're fairly similar. I think Taruva may have the uptick on run meters just because that Panthers back line is just incredible.
Just from the back end.
Yeah. Both of them have the error in them. And that's the thing is for us, Suni does have an error in him. Same with Dylan Edwards. Dylan Edwards seems seems so safe most of the time and that, but he still has the odd error in him that can change the game a little bit. Taruva's very similar to that as well. So they're not too far away from the pace. Defensively, I would pick, it's tough because that right edge is the best edge to attack for the Panthers, and all of that comes down to Isaac Tungo and Suni Taruva. I'll sway Dal. I would keep Dal.
Yeah, I trust
it's
you.
Close, bro.
It's close, so yeah. I think Taruva obviously benefits from a better back five overall. And obviously in a team that's doing well attack-wise, and he's getting some finishing opportunities. But yeah, I think I was really impressed with Dal's tackle to come and cover across for Dom Young. So yeah, but it's tight. It's very tight. Well, I'll stick with Dal. We'll give him that. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll stay on the right side. Oh no, we'll go left wing. Sorry.
Yep. Okay. Marcelo versus Brian.
Yeah. Quickly, we didn't really discuss it fully, or maybe we did, but I just want to talk about it again. Montoya coming back up. Do you think this is a long-term fix, or do you think it's just until? Because we saw it's round 17 for RTS to come back. If he has to come back, some assume that he will go to the wing. But do you feel that Montoya is definitely going to come in till that time comes?
I think, like, if we're going off, if Roger was healthy, I do think he'd be playing wing right now. But I think that the way Webby will play this out now is, now that Roger's out of injury, let's see how Bomps and Monty go. Who performs the best out of the two? Who's the more sturdier player that he can plug, RTS on the opposite side to really work with there? I would more so say that at the moment, it seems like the writing on the wall. It seems like Monty might be the first one to be looked at to be pushed out, and Pompey moving back in now. I think that might be the option. But I think we've got a couple of weeks under our hand now to see really where does it sit. Like, I can see Monty being there. Like, I like Monty. I don't think he's horrendous. I think he's a good winger. I just don't think he's a great winger. I think there's a player that we can actually switch out and make it better. But it's really up to Adam Pompey for me. It's like, does Pompey continue to be the sturdy center that's going to plug a hole there for now? Or do we want to invest in Roger in the hope that he's going to become like a Valentine Holmes or like a Joey Manu type, you know what I mean? Like more Valentine, like a fullback that turned into a center that ends up thriving. So, for me, it's all on how Adam Pompey performs. If he performs really well, I see Roger on the wing, in my opinion.
Okay, there you heard it, guys. But back to this, obviously, Montoya versus Tall. I think that's a simple...
Yeah, that's Tall, bro.
Tall, and how's he been going?
Bro. He's incredible, bro. I made a video on my channel about Brian Toto and, like, where does he rank? It's really tough to rank current day players with, like, the best players of all time and where do they rank at that. I honestly do believe when it's said and done, I think Brian Toto will at least be in that top 5 winger of all time. But I actually did the stat dive on both, Brian Toto versus Brett Morris, a Wendell Saylor, edit any winger in there, and he holds up immensely, bro. Like, you think that he'd drop in the tries per game area? Nah, bro. He scores like just as many tries per game as these guys. And then does the run meters on ahead of that and is better defensively. That's the biggest thing too. Is like Brian Toto is incredible, bro. He's incredible.
I think it'll go down, probably from the history of wingers in the NRL. You think it probably Matty Utai was the first of that. Well, no, before that it's like the winger, Joe Lomu, and if you're going back into rugby, but especially in rugby league, Matty Utai. Probably first of that ilk, then Manu Vatave, that bigger style, and then now it's kind of shrunken down with all the attributes. Is more of the Brian Thor, where you're still getting amazing amounts of league drive, power, everything. And like you said, he'll go down as one of the greats, I reckon.
For me, he came into the league, bro. When I first saw him, I was like, "Oh, Matt Utai, yo, it's good to see him back again." Bro, he is skyrocketed above that. I love Matt Utai. He's one of my favorite old school wingers of all time. But yeah, another player that always gets forgotten about, and I reckon if his career continued on and all that, yep, You know exactly where I was going, bro.
Yeah,
He
he's a
was
legend.
incredible, bro.
It was one
He
of
was
those
incredible.
careers that it's just a shame. If you're a fan of rugby league, you would have loved Taniela. I mean, he's just a beast. It's just a shame what happened to his ankle.
Exactly.
And I know why guys, hate the guys coming in late and diving into the leagues, hey? Because
Yeah, bro.
that was the first guy we really saw have a really bad injury because of that, man. Fuck.
He's unreal, bro.
Yep. No, Taniela. I just wanted to jump the gun because I was like, if you say
You knew where I was
Taniela.
going. Bro, those years, man, when I was coming up, when I was a little boy, seeing Benji and him connect,
time.
like, was, unreal.
Fan of rugby league, you love it. You love it. Left centre, my friend. So we have got so Pompey's on the left. Verse is
Would
Taylor
be
May.
Taylor May.
Yeah.
Yep.
May looks all right. May kind of looks all right on paper. His running style, I haven't seen much distribution. You probably have to go with May for me, but do you see maybe Pompey beating him out in this one? Or?
I would go Taylor May for me as well. This is my, back to Roger being a centre. Taylor May and Roger, very, very similar. Like, Taylor May's an all-attacking threat. Defensive, he's incredible too. The only thing Taylor May needed to learn was getting put into positions where he could pass, and that's why we saw a lot of this year. The Panthers' majority, their best attack goes right, and they've scored 80% of their tries going right. If you actually check the stats, so it's not like Taylor May does a lot of work out of his back end. He's good at line break, stuff like that. But the finishing touches are still not there yet. But that will grow over time, and he's very similar to Rog, in my opinion. That's why I sort of same things there.
Yep. I'm going with May as well. Cool. Okay. Now, the good thing, just wanted to quickly acknowledge Pompey on his goal kicking.
Yeah.
Another reason why he's probably in the team and being around. But I thought those kicks that he did were good quality. Good quality kicks as well. Just want to give him a little bit of a shout out there. Right centre, it is Leatoa versus Tango.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of both at different stages of their career, different styles as well. I mean, attributes wise, you're going to probably say physicality, athletically. Leatoa will be a big physical matchup in this situation, but Tango's got that experience.
Yeah.
Where you going there, bro?
I got to sway the way of experience with Isaac Dongo. I think he's incredible, but he has some defensive lapse in him, and it's starting to get found out now. Even though the Panthers incredibly defensively and they cover for him so well in that, the way that to attack the Panthers these days is on that. It's our less preferred side, is that left side. The Doggies found it out in the he didn't play on the weekend actually. With Alamonte played on the weekend, but the Melbourne Storm found that out pretty easily. Early on in the year as well, and I have my missus' cousin. He was in the Storm system. He was playing for the Storm under-20s and stuff, and he's got a really good eye for footy in that. And I've been talking to him a lot about our centers and everything like that. And he's a fan of Isaac Tungo, but he's also he's not as crazy as what everyone kind of cracks him up to be at the moment. He's in an amazing system. Defensively, he can get twisted up quite a bit. So really, really watch out for that this weekend. If we can attack really well on that side, that's going to be the side we need to attack on this weekend. But out of these two, I've got to go Tungo. Just experience and attacking form. He's incredible attacking. He's unbelievable.
One thing I'll give Leatoa is that he's not afraid. I know he came in on the Canberra Raiders, and I did downplay that. He was coming up against a Croker, but yeah, if you take into the significance of the game, it was Croker's 300th. So I do think that he'll be up for it, and I don't think he's a guy to be afraid. So just be interested to see how that matchup goes. Obviously, he'll be playing against, I think it's May. So
he'll be playing against May. Yeah.
May will match him physically, I think, but
See, Ali's like for me is a lot like a Jesse Ramian, a very early Jesse Ramian.
Good point. Good shout. Yeah.
He so similar. So that's sort of like the I get from me. Me and one of my bros actually talk about it. And when he first saw him, he goes, "Yo, Jesse Ramian 2.0." And I looked at him, I was like, "You know what? You're onto something there, my bro."
Yeah, he got Ramian's style.
He does.
They have that kind of overarching body, shoulder, upper body.
Yeah.
Ramian's very, very similar in that sense too. Yeah.
Yep.
But exciting, man. Take the opportunity and run with it for you, Ali.
I'm excited.
If you make it your own, bro, absolutely.
This is your chance, bro.
Yes, 5/8. Now, 5/8 and a half. Now we're picking. I wouldn't mind just doing a quick little matchup for matchup's sake.
Yep.
But still, definitely pick the best halves.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Tamaide, Chance versus Jack Cole.
Yep.
Not J. Cole. Don't get that twisted. Jack Cole.
I love some J. Cole.
Yeah. Who? Well, talk to me. Do you know about Jack Cole? Is he played a few games? Is he?
He's more of a player that has a lot of raps on him coming up through the grades.
Okay.
He's the next one that the Panthers, even though they've got Brad Schneider, they've got Dane Laurie, they got all these players that look like they're going to be the six coming up. This kid seems to be the one that's jumped them all, and he's shown a lot of ability. Yeah, so, even though to start this year, they chose him to fill in that role against who they play, Wigan in the World Club Challenge.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to his game. He's still yet to figure it out in first grade yet. He's a lot more of a running threat in first grade, but he's got some really good ball playing ability. He likes to sum up those edge back rollers and short balls and stuff like that. He's really, really solid. So he's got a big future, man. So
would you saying what's his age range? Is he like in the Jet Cleary age, or is he a little bit older?
I think he's like 18, 19.
And what's Jet? Is he around 17 maybe? 17?
Jet's like 17, yeah. Jet's
wow. So they've kind of actually said we're going to go with this guy over Jet Cleary.
I just want to double check
in a way.
But I'm pretty sure he is.
I'm just trying to read into this as that they might have this
2003, bro. 2003.
Okay. What's that? So he's 20
years old, sorry.
20, yeah, 20, 21 nearly.
Yep.
Oh, Jet would be 17-ish, 18, so he's probably a little bit. Yeah, interesting. Because we even got Luke Hanson, and he was probably around the same age as this guy.
And everyone was saying that Luke Hanson was a lot of a big reason why Jet came, because they had a really good connection together when they came through together.
Okay. Yeah.
Before they made Harold Matts, or even I think when they touched Harold Matts, because I think Jet was in SG Ball this year, from memory. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Still a long way away. Everyone wants Jet in right now. Jet's going to take freaking another 2 to 3 more years before we even see his face yet.
Absolutely. But yeah, I was just thinking in terms of if they had a choice, they've maybe chosen Cole over Jet Cleary, but maybe the age gap, can't really say that. Yeah.
At the moment, possibly, yeah. But yeah, it's a little bit of age gap there.
So just in this situation, I mean, Jack Cole versus CNK, even though out of position with mountains of experience, who would actually win that matchup?
Seeing both of them play, I'd say Jack Cole's more suited to the 6, 100%.
Yeah.
If I had to choose him as a 6, I'll choose Jack Cole.
Yeah, and I'm my argument, I'm just trying to be devil's advocate saying, well, CNK's got all this experience. Is that enough to beat a guy that's actually trained in the 5/8 and a half position? And from what you're saying now, it's better just to have a guy that with even little experience in the halves is better than having someone with experience like a CNK.
I would say more so the fact of playing out like a 6 type game plan comparatively to, Chance's probably going to not look outside of him and probably run more so than not. Jack at the moment's in that mold right now, so it's kind of like, throwing up both ways. So that kind of feeds to that devil's advocate argument as well. Yep. Defensively, I'd probably sway the way of Chancey just being in defensive systems and NRL systems. So maybe you are right down that track. But I think more of the attacking potential of if Jack Cole was able to settle and to really play out his game plan, his ball playing ability will definitely surpass Chancey's in my opinion. In that role there, maybe more kicking game as well. Throw that up. I'd say Jack Cole probably got a bigger kicking game, even though we don't see Chance's kicking game at all. So and it plays out.
And it's not to discredit Chance. It's just the reality that at NRL level, a kid that has played a few games still could be better in a Panthers team with heaps of support around them than a Chance with all that mountain experience. Tells you how specialized the sport is. When it comes to the higher levels, you can't even, it's really risky to do these types of changes in a game. So
it's risky to do changes overall, bro. In my opinion, that's the biggest thing. The best teams in a competition stick solid throughout a whole year.
No, thanks for the insight, Ash. Now let's just jump into the squads over the best out of those best two out of the four, Tamaida, Jerome, Jack, and Chance. Who's your halves combo there?
It would be Tamati Martin and Jerome Luai, 100%.
And you're going to go 5'8". Who's your 5'8"?
I would go Jerome Luai at the 6 and Tamati Martin at the 7.
Cool. Put that in. Yeah, I agree with that.
I think Jerome's a lot more like Tamati can play off the cuff, like as we kind of touched on before, but Jerome probably creates more off the cuff, where Tamati off the cuff, he kind of like bumps around and choosing a running straight threat instead of like, Jerome's a bounce around, find something happening. Out of the two, in a halves look, I believe Tamati looks a lot better using edge back rollers and playing off the back of that. I think, Jerome Luai is so much more flowy, cut out balls, grubbers in behind, that sort of thing. So I reckon that's what would work out with those two there.
Just quick thought up the wires 95. What is if it was Cole versus Far boys? Just quick thought. Yeah. What would you have in that situation there?
Cole
Ash?
by far. And
really?
The pun. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
yeah, you got.
I don't want to say any hate.
Yeah.
I have big raps over Cole, but also like I think Ben Farr is a good football player. I don't think he's ever going to be an amazing 6. I think like people are going to understand too, like a football team, like we got all these, development players that are all coming through and, Ben Farr, Webby likes him. He's a good player and all that, but he's not going to be an incredible 6 that's going to take us to the promised land, like that sort of thing. Like Jack Cole has had the raps all the way through. He's proven it that many times. Ben Farr still has a lot to work on in his game. Like, I think playmaking ability, Ben Farr definitely is so far away, especially if Jack Cole goes back to cup, you see the big differences. I think best thing about Ben Farr is he tries and he's got a ton of effort behind him. He's got tackle break ability in that, but every other area, I got Jack Cole ahead, in my opinion.
Wow. You hear it here, guys. Be great to watch a guy like Jack Cole. I think it'll be a good game to watch just to see his movements and how he works. But yeah great analysis there, Ash. Appreciate that insight. Okay, let's get the front row, my friend. Massive battle. We got the guy that we're releasing. Well, technically, it's not. It's in this situation, Adam versus Moses.
I think it's the best way to look at it too, because
yeah.
If I was to choose my best 2 props out of these two, it would be Ads and Fisher Harris. And like
should we just
Moses
go
is
with
not
that?
That far off. Yeah, I think we should probably start going with that. Yeah.
Okay, let's just do it right now. So we'll go AFB. So we'll go Leo, JFH at the 10, and we will go. Man, these Union guys and their bloody forwards down the bottom. And who is it? AFB. The hyphens.
And honestly, Moses is not that far behind. Moses is incredible. Like it's just that AFB is just like, at the moment, he's in rare form, even though in an underperforming team, he's still in really rare form, like right now.
Yeah. No, absolutely. How are we feeling about that battle in the middle, man?
I'm excited, bro. Like, I think that, like, Bunty, I'm excited for Bunty to go up against these two boys, but it's more so like Adam Fenor-Blake versus James Fisher-Harris. Our new player coming over versus the player that we've loved for the last how many years, and we're sticking with this year, obviously. Like, I'm excited for that battle. That's going to be hectic.
Yeah.
For me, the opposite ends of the spectrum, like, Fisher-Harris for me is a lot more dominant than AFB is in defense, and that's not like AFB is incredible defensively, but like, he's not on Fisher-Harris's level. Like, Fisher-Harris defensively is just on a different level. Yep. But in attacking wise, you got to sway the way of Adam Fenor-Blake. He scores tries. He does all like the footwork at the line. He's all that. So excited for that. I'm excited for that.
No, absolutely. What a sight that would have been if we could have kept AFB and JFH. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
With Barnett in there. Oh, far. Hooker, my friend. We have a good battle here. There's Wade Egan versus Mitch Kenny, and it's this constant. We've always coming up against these hookers that are, I suppose, more physical types.
Yeah,
and it's the argument is always that you're gonna take the physical more, they can play 80, I suppose, hooker over the Egan, who's he's not pure finesse. He definitely can play 80 and can defend well. but he's got that amazing attacking game.
Yeah.
What's your view on this position?
This one's actually like it's tough because you got again you're going back to Mitch Kenny. I feel like is a lot more. He hits harder in defense. Like he creates more from defensive looks. Like his tackle tech is unreal. Wado gets for a ton of defensive work, which is like holds up that opposite end of the spectrum. Wado's attack for me is a ton better than Mitch Kenny. Like I think Mitch Kenny has got good service out of dummy half, but other than that, like deceptiveness out of the ruck and all that, you got to go Wado.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like this, right? You're going to go like defensive, physical hooker that's just going to give good service, or you're going to be a focal point in attack that does a lot of defense to try and hold up that weight a little bit there. Like you'll get through 50 tackles. I would just sway the way of Wade Egan because I would say that if we're playing a perfect world, no injuries, for me, he's the better hooker. If we're playing injuries now, like Mitch Kenny has a little bit more of a play there, in my opinion. But on form, not on form, I'll go Wade Egan. I'll sway the way of Wado.
Yeah, I take out, I suppose, all that who the injuries and that. I'd stay with Egan as well. I think like I was talking about, Mitch Kenny would be a great type of hooker to start a game off with, 100%. And then bring a Wade Egan on. You just have rock solid defensive work, and then Wade comes in, and so I wouldn't mind actually seeing that type of a pairing. That'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's go to left edge. We have Jacko Ford versus Luke Garner. I think will be on the left.
Jacko will be on the right these days, eh?
Oh, he's on the right. My apologies. Yeah,
I know it's crazy.
Sorry, I'm just so used to him being a left edge player. Okay, let's go Mitch Barnett versus Luke Garner.
Luke Garner. Yep. It's tough because like I always take a look at Mitch Barnett as like what he is as the middle for us. I think he's incredible on the edge. I think he's really, really good there. Luke Garner, he's been up and down throughout his career and that. I think he's as an edge back rower, runs solid lines, scores tries that way. I got to sway the back. I got to go to Mitch Barnett, bro. If we're going to all effort areas and that, defensively, I think Mitch Barnett's like on a different level. I just rate Mitch Barnett more so as a middle now than I do as an edge. And that's why it kind of like evens out this argument a little bit there. But if I was going Mitch Barnett versus Liam Martin, that kind of helps out there. But like we're going Mitch Barnett versus Luke Garner. Garner's okay. I just like Mitch Barnett a little bit better. That's all.
Yeah. And I love Barnett's detail too. Like, did a little video of that shape that we scored the Kossi try. I thought it was really good shape actually. But Barney's so good at pulling the handbrake, like selling really hard and then pulling at the line.
Yep.
So that he doesn't get called up for obstructions or all that rubbish.
Yeah.
He's pretty good in terms of that type of stuff. I really like that part of his game.
Yep.
Sells his line really well. But yeah, actually agree. Actually go with Barney, and this is pretty good.
What Mitch Barnett did well on the weekend too is just proves that a back rower that's willing to run that line with full conviction and like to look like he's going to get the ball and run over the top of you can open up so many different things on that edge.
Absolutely.
I'm saying Jacko can't do that, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's the intention.
How we're going to unlock the attack for our team.
Yeah, it's the attention, and like you very rarely catch him like running through the line and then getting caught. When he runs through the line, he'll go all the way through, before getting touched, or he'll pull up like he did kind of at the line, and without getting an interference. I think that's just really quality, and maybe things like Ford needs a little bit more detail around his game in those areas.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome. Okay, we're going to go to right edge now, which is Ford versus Liam Martin. Sheesh.
This is a tough one for Jacko. This is a very tough one. Shout out to you, Jacko, in the chat, brother. I can't. I'm very, very sorry. I got to go Liam Martin, bro. Liam Martin's unreal. Like, Daly and back row of the comp last year. And just a hard worker, changes the game defensively, or can run a demon line and score a try off it. So, he's definitely a worry this weekend. Usually a bit more of a worry running off of Cleary, but I'm excited to see what the Panthers can do even without Cleary with Liam Martin this weekend.
Yeah, that line he runs, he's always scored against us too, I feel. He's always got one in him. Just one of those good players. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to lock now. Tohu versus Yo, Mr. Yo-Yo. What do you got there, bro?
Yeah, I got to sway the way of Isaiah Yo. I think Tohu's incredible and he's our captain and all that. I think Tohu's in a little bit of flat form at the moment. I feel like I don't know whether it's just he's getting overplayed and it's starting to see now. Like, maybe he needs to ramp back his minutes a little bit.
Yeah.
But Isaiah Yo is the reason why a lot of teams are playing the same, like the football that what they're playing, like with the 13 connecting with the halves and stuff like that. And Isaiah Yo does it at a higher click, and he's got a little bit more to his game too. So I got to sway away Isaiah, but I would say it's not that far off because I do think Tohu, like the work rate Tohu gets through, really helps out on that end. But yeah, Isaiah Yo, bro.
Yeah. I mean, if we got to be completely honest, guys. We love our captain. We love what he does, but we do have to call it out and just say he just looks a little bit laboured and tired. It's been happening for a little while now. But yeah, we just got to acknowledge it, and especially in this case, it's a Yo. Just in the prime peak years of Yo and prime and his motor's he's just non-stop, that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, good shout, good call. Okay, let's do this bench now. It's okay, now this might be an interesting bench here. Dylan Walker, Komale, Jazz Tavanga, Laban versus Dane Laurie, Lindsay Smith, Matt Eisenhuth, and Maverick Gaia.
Yeah. Ooh, out of this one, bro, for the 4 that I would select, first of all, I'd go Dylan Walker. I'll take him off the board there.
Yep.
Second up, I would choose Jazzy. I would sway the way of Matt Eisenhuth. And it's tough between Maverick Gaia and Jacob Laban. I'd say potentially like to leave Lindsay Smith on the board and Tom Arley on the board, obviously, and all that. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Lindsay Smith. I think he does a lot of like good hard work and that, but I also do think if I was to say there's a moment to take over the Panthers and that is usually when Moses and Fish Harris come off the field and you have Lindsay Smith there. It's when the Broncos struck against the Panthers. The game plan's there for it. Lindsay can be a little bit laboured in defense. I do still see it. Now we're going Maverick versus Jacob Laban for me. Potential, I'd go Laban. Maverick right now seems to be like obviously in a better system. Maybe he looks better that way. I'm going to go Laban. So I'll go Dylan Walker, Jazzy Tavanga, Matt Eisenhuth, and Jacob Laban. It's a more so Warriors bench. And it's crazy to say because the Panthers make it look a ton better than what the names are on paper. But that's kind of the way I would go. I say more potential is on our side of the fence here.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Again, I mean, the last few benches, we haven't won them. But this is good to see that maybe the impacting that's a part of the game where we could see a little bit of, influence. Cool. Okay, guys, that makes up our 17. Sorry I had to use 15 icons because those rugby guys didn't want to give any subs. But anyway, you can get what we're saying here. Actually, looking at this team, structure-wise, how would this team actually play out? Wouldn't be too bad a team, just maybe the halves, Barney on an edge, Barney and Martin on both edges, that JFH and AFB, that's the right balance of attack. Yeah.
And if I had my opportunity, bro, if Leota was able to be picked on the bench, I'd pick him on the bench. he's there.
Yeah, let's chuck out Eisenhuth, eh? No.
Yeah, chuck out Eisenhuth, put Leota in there.
Let's chuck out Eisenhuth, man. Who knows? Who needs an Eisenhuth? Put Leota Laban. That'd be that's a bit more spicy. Yeah.
How incredible is that?
Yeah, let's bring these guys up so you can see them a bit more. Yeah, that looks actually really good. That'd be a pretty solid team right there. Dallin gives you good finishing on the right. To'o. Centers look, I mean, if you look at the squad, it's not too bad. I mean, we've got a few of our names in there. Barney and AFB and Egan. So, guys, it might not be as bad as you think on paper. I think Cleary out is another big one for me.
Is a big plus, yeah.
Yeah, big plus. So, if we can this would have been a great game if we kept halves pairing. But despite that, I think it's just one of those games we've got to try and win. Yeah, and up the wire saying 8 out of 17 isn't bad to be fair. Look at that back five. Yeah, it looks pretty good to me.
That's mean, bro. That's mean.
Yeah.
And the other quick thing I do want to touch on too, if you look at their reserves, another player you'd pick up on especially is Scott Sorensen.
Yeah, true.
Those two there. But for me, Scott Sorensen is the big one. I see him coming in late for me, taking Garner's spot, and Garner will probably go to the bench, and that will probably be the deficit to Maverick Guy. Maverick Guy will probably fall out of this squad coming up game day. So that's the way I'll sort of look.
What's happened to Sonny Luke? Have they changed tactics, or has he been injured, or
he's had a bit of, it's a mixed bag, bro. Like when he's been playing, I've seen some positives out of his play and all that, but I think Penrith have just gone with the whole thing of Mitch Kenny's going to play the 80 and do what he needs to do because they didn't see the same spark with Sonny Luke coming on being like the Arpi Coruscant type. He just didn't fill out that potential yet. He's still got that, but like I still think he's an incredible footballer, and he's just not clicking at the moment.
Okay. Yep. But they got a lot of options, when everything goes right.
A ton of options.
They're a really, really solid team. Guys, that makes the combined 17. Thank you guys for your participation. Sorry I couldn't pull up all the comments. I know you guys have been busy in the chat. But Ash, again, man, just top quality analysis, just your overall knowledge. How much foot are you watching a weekend, man? You must be watching insane amounts of
every game, bro. My missus hates it.
Yeah.
I struggle with that, bro. Like that's my whole thing. Is like my work-life balance is slightly tough because if I miss a game, bro, honestly, I'll rewatch it during the week sometime, or I'll do something like I'll have like NRL 360 and all that playing just during the day, like what Fox League playing during the day. So I'm bad, bro. I'm horrendous. But I keep up with all sports too. That's what's the worst thing is like, it's so bad, bro. I got a problem.
Hey, it's all good, man. Hey, we love our sports. Me too, my man. Hey, guys, 36 likes on YouTube. We've got about 86 people of you guys in here. Can you please give us a like to get to 40? If you can, bump us up to 50 if you feel like. If you're feeling good.
Please.
We're on the 1K, people. We want to celebrate. So, yeah, we appreciate everyone's support in the chat here. Man, let's get to our predictions now, man. The score prediction. How do you think the game will plan out? Actually, do we have the ref? Do we need to look at referees? Is it that time of year?
We got Grant Atkins, my brother. Grant Atkins.
So,
honestly, I don't feel like there's any sort of ref that I feel like for me it just goes like, yeah, tick, and that like I feel.
They all have their flaws.
That's where they're at the moment. There's no like Harrigan or any of these boys. Like, there's none of that.
You miss the old days of Harrigan. Yeah, no, I said Atkins last year. He needed to go on the Atkins diet. I thought he needed a bit of man. He's a bit over the top sometimes. He's one of those ones that if you like try and mess with him, he takes offense to it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know how they've all got
a little bit of that syndrome.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of the small man syndrome. I love seeing this guy, Ziggy, though. Ziggy. Oh, hey, Ziggy. Because Adam. I can't say their last name. Ziggy.
I have no clue how to say that, and don't even let me try to pronounce that. I'll embarrass myself.
Yeah. Oh, man. These touchies, they're like the most, like... Remember when you saw the chicken wing and then Chance was saying, chicken wing, and the guy's just like, You could tell he didn't want to make the call. He was like...
Don't get me started, man. We're taking out all the everything for these referees to go away and learn from what they're doing. They got safety blankets left, right, and center, and unfortunately, they're not learning and growing from it. And that's the biggest thing for me.
That's exactly right, man.
But wasn't it like Sutton that used to be our worst referee? I think there was a stat around it, wasn't it? It was like whenever we got Sutton, it was one of the Suttons are the brothers, right? I think it was the brothers. No.
Yeah, the Sutton brothers. The other brother was pretty bad, I think.
Yeah, I remember that from memory.
Chicken. I always felt Chicken was a bit poor. I don't know. Chicken. Yeah.
What was your thoughts on Harry Perinara? I brought this up on my Wednesday show one time. For some reason, for a bloke that he came through our system, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, for a bloke that came through our system, brother, give us more of an upper hand, please.
No, Perinara, I felt he overcompensated. being a Kiwi, that Kiwi element. I was like, bro, you're the only Kiwi ref. Who cares? Just call the game, But Perenara was horrible.
I got nothing to say about that, my bro. You put me on the spot there. I'm
Yeah.
an Aussie. Don't do this to
Yeah,
me.
no. He was honestly, he was bad, man. He was bad, bro. And I always knew every time we go, I was, oh no, he's gonna overcompensate. Here we go. Yeah. So nah, and I think people in the chat they're saying it too. But yeah, he was Perenara was like, yeah. And the game is like kind of like a Brandy Alexander, probably one of those guys that kind of hated the Warriors and how they treated him. And, took offense to whatever it was. Yep. I think it was kind of like that, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I can't remember who was the one that did that the classic. Remember that Parramatta Eels game? It was for I think 2019, was it 2020? We were trying to come back. We were so close to getting back in the 8. Roger threw the flick pass. And it went backwards, and they called it forwards.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I'm sure that was Harry Perenara's game, and I think that's stuck solid in my head. It's either that or it was Sutton. It was one of those two.
Yeah, Climb. The only time I've ever liked Climb was the 2008 World Cup, the grand final. That's the only time I've ever liked Climb. Since then, bro, he's been rubbish, man.
You want to run
Manda, remember old Timmy Manda? Remember old Timmy Manda?
Timmy
Manda. I miss that era of referee they weren't too bad. They had a bit more character to them, Old Manda.
I don't know if it's just nostalgia, bro, but that era of footy is just like my favorite era of footy.
It was funny. I love hearing Mason talk about that kind of 2000s era of footy. Just fun times. That was the era I was kind of.
We grew up on it, bro.
Yeah, I love that era. Okay, man. Good little side trick there. Anyway, score prediction. What have you got, my friend?
Yeah, bro. So I would say that this is probably going to be not a completely high scoring game. I'm going to think around that, similar to what happened last year, that 18-10 sort of look there. I'm going to give it probably like 18-16 to the Warriors. I got a tip with the boys.
Whoa.
I got a tip with the boys, but 18-16 with the boys, because I feel like the only way we're going to have to get this done is get in the grind and really, really work hard defensively and try to limit the Panthers as best. And I think if we're going to win, it's not by 13 plus at all. It's definitely 1-12, and it's something that's going to come really close. And that's what's going to help us throughout the season. That little edge of just like beating a team like the Panthers, hopefully it'll get us a little bit of energy before the bye round. So I'm thinking, 18-16's in my head. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we get up to that 20-16 realm, but 18-16.
Yeah, 18, right. I mean, I've just got to go Panthers for me. I just think it will just. I think there's just too many changes, but man, I just think we. I think this is a great opportunity for the team, kind of a mix and match team, to see them in Webby's system still, but also be a little bit free. I just think if we can, I actually what I do like about it is that forward pack is pretty much intact. I love that I'm actually looking at and I'm thinking, it's good that they kept Walker in the 14.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and if it's Ben Farr, whoever it is, if we have some late changes, I'm all good with it. But man, I could see that too. I'm just playing a little bit of devil's advocate, but also just realistic. But I think that out for Cleary is great for us. If we can just come up with a really good defensive game plan, and just really commit to it, I think the middles will just have to really be solid. Keep it simple, even on attack. I suppose try and keep a high completion rate. Try them in the middle part of the field. I think we'll be okay. But we just gotta put in a good performance.
I think the keys for me, bro, honestly, is for that first 20-30 that Fish and Leota are on, to really hold in then. Because as soon as Lindsay Smith, Eisenhuth, or whoever fills in that bench role, if they do that late switch to Sorensen and stuff, they don't have Spencer there anymore. They don't have that injection of energy that comes off the bench and changes that game and really sways it back in their favor. We've seen it majority throughout this year. Like, the Cowboys got a nice little comeback on them in a real nice time where they had to get Fisher and that on to really hold out the Cowboys for that late push. The Bulldogs did a very similar thing too. They held in as best they could until, Cleary went down to injury, but usually the turning of the game really happens when Fish and Leota come off the field. So for me, whatever happens in that first 20, sort of happen to the Roosters, learn from the Roosters' performance, limit that scoreboard as best as you can for that first 20, and you'll start to see inroads sort of happen between 10 minutes before halftime and then from throughout that. So that's where I think we're going to hit. And for me, if we're going to attack, that left side's going to have to open up because that's the best side we can attack against the Panthers. Because if we're going to go Brian To'o's side, he's too good defensively as a winger, especially with that edge of whoever's defending on that side usually defends in really, really well together. That left side, the other side, the right side, defensively for the Panthers, Suni Taruva, Isaac Tungo is where we need to hit hard. We need to really go at that. And I'm hoping Pompey can have a really good game against Isaac Tungo.
Yeah, great point. Hey, thank you, Tristan. Might be your first time. Thank you for coming in. When SJ went off last game, the boys were actually playing a lot harder and with a lot more energy. I think we even scored a try too. And that's a good argument too. Like we've been playing with a kind of a Sean that's been hampered from injury. So we may have lost a little bit of sting in defense, a little bit of energy. So great shout there. It might see a team that's a little bit more on the uptick. So I think it's just got to. I think defensive resilience is just so important in this game.
It is.
Just to hold tight, take what shape they see in this, but keep our penalties and errors to as much of a limit as possible. I think that's probably why they went with Montoya, just because they know they need some points on the board. There's no time to really reintegrate Kossi, who's a little bit out of form. Go with old, reliable Pompey and Montoya like last year and get some points on the board and try and come home to the Dolphins and go into the bye with 6 points would be massive.
Yeah.
And then we're talking differently with that injury list coming in around round 13, 14. We're looking pretty
spark.
Yeah, we're looking good going into that last run. So
Morata's the big one for me, bro. That's the one I'm waiting for. That's the one I'm like really, really excited. If he can get his injuries under check, come back for us, whether we play him on an edge or we continue to try and push through of him being a momentum forward off the bench. Either way, that works for me. More so, I'd love to see him on an edge again, but I would have to see how that game plan plays out. Because I was really interested in him playing that momentum forward off the bench like a Spencer, but I feel like the way the season's going at the moment, we need someone on that edge who's going to pack a little bit of punch, and it will push Mitch Barnett back in the middle. So that's the one for me I'm waiting on, is Marata Niokore is the big one for me. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. You hit it here first. Now, just quickly on YouTube, 98 votes. Wow, thank you, people, for being involved.
Love it.
Warriors 1 to 12. We've got 45% saying 1 to 12. Warriors 13 plus 12%. Panthers 1 to 12, 23%. And Panthers 13 plus 19%. I'm going to read into that and say it's going to be a kind of a close game. I think from everyone's kind of read of it, the majority is saying Panthers 1 to 12, although 19% is still pretty close. Warriors 1 to 12. I know we're Warriors channel, but it does feel kind of good. Yeah.
I think there was a stat that went around that even though our losses, I know like after the Roosters game and the Dragons game, it didn't look that way, but majority of our losses have been within that single digit mark. And we had one of the better, I think even though we lose, we don't lose by a lot usually. That's a definite good stat. I know it's pretty hard to look at that after the weekend with the Roosters. I think that pushed that stat out a little bit more, but there was a stat going around. I'm pretty sure we're like top 3 in the comp for like when we lose, what the score line usually is. Like usually the Broncos lose, they lose. It was like, the Broncos lose, they lose by like 18 points or more. When the Broncos win, they win by 18 points or more. When we win, it's short. When we lose, it's like between that 8 to 6 range or something like that. I'm pretty sure that was the stat. So, check it out.
For and against is always usually a good, and at least in RL tables, it's usually good to give you an indicator of where a team's at. Like if you look in the top 8, I think it's Canberra, but they're negative points differential.
Yep.
I think they might be the only one with a negative in there. So it's always those teams I'm looking for. We can get in front of the Panthers. We're staying healthy.
I found it.
Yep.
I found it. So when we lose, our average losing margin is 9.2. The only other teams that are on single digits right now is the Dogs, the Seagulls, the Roosters, the Storm. That's it. The Panthers lose by 11, usually average. The Broncos lose by 14. The Raiders lose by 21. When you lose by 9.2. So that's a good little stat there that we are still holding in contest a little bit, but we want to change that Roosters game a little bit and that Dragons game. We don't want any more of those, please.
Yeah, we can agree on that for sure. Hey guys, thank you for 40 likes. Thank you, Jazz, for letting me know that. And great stuff, guys. Hey, 1K, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And just a little announcement, actually, like I said, we got a 1K celebration stream. So you can join us, guys, jumping on full credit to the boys on Sunday. And we'll have the link in the chat. So come along if you feel, courage of your convictions to jump in and have a little chat with us. Just have fun. I mean, as long as there's no outlandish calls for Berry to back row or Bunty to 7. We want you to keep it a little bit realistic. But we will kick you off if you have any outlandish calls, okay? But feel free
for Nathan Brown.
Nathan Brown back in, yeah. Bring back Kearney. Nothing too outlandish, but we'll let you have it if it is not too far off. But yeah, guys, come and have a chat. We appreciate you. This is just a way of showing our appreciation to you guys. Every week, every session, our chat is just hot. It's lit up. You guys are lit. The vibe is strong. We appreciate all of our regulars who come every week. But yeah, we'll definitely see you on Sunday. Now, Ash, you're not in tomorrow night?
Nah, unfortunately, my little sister's birthday, so I got to get away from footy for a day. I hope that's okay, guys.
It's first day of the year.
And then I'll be back Thursday watching Bunny's State of Origin game. So back to footy, baby.
This guy is just full time, man. Absolutely. No, man, cool. So, any quick punters paradise? No, I'm not really.
Oh, bro, I haven't even quickly checked up on, but let me have a quick little look and that, and maybe I'll shoot it over to you, bro, and that for the weekend. Actually, I think, have you seen the Rabbitohs haven't lost a Magic Round game yet, and they're versing the Cowboys, who are out of form completely.
Yeah.
$3.30, guys, get on it. And these boys called the Warriors, $3.30.
Get onto it, people.
Get onto it.
Anyway,
I'll shoot one over to you or something, bro, and
maybe
you can post it on Instagram or something.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But no, thank you everyone again. That wraps us up. Thank you again, Ash. Man, we're so excited, guys. With
Look at what we've
that's
done, bro.
Yeah, and just we want to take it further and appreciate the growth from everything. Now, guys, also we are on Spotify now, so if you do want to listen into this stuff, we're posting direct audios. So, have a listen in. Shout out Tater, shout out Tanya, Jose, everyone, Bob Carr, Jacko. Great to have you guys in. And yeah, we'll be here on Sunday. I think it's 6. So the game's at 3:50. So there'll be 5:50 finish, probably around 6:30. Again, have you guys on. And yeah, feel free to jump on, guys, if you feel like it. Anything else, my friend?
Nah, bro. Hope you all have a great weekend out there. I'm going to enjoy Magic Round to the fullest ability. My hometown, Brizzy, baby. Welcome to Brisbane.
Bris Vegas, baby.
Bris Vegas. Up the Maroons, baby.
Okay, everyone. Catch you later.